Okay.
Hi and welcome, very warmly welcome. This is our very first webinar we do on the series Masculinity and Femininity United. My name is Maria Appelqvist.
And my name is Frank Labuda. I live in the Canary Islands in the sun and warmth. Also now in the moment the clouds are coming and I'm in middle of the clouds, but the whole day was beautiful and warm.
Yeah, and I live in Sweden. And we're starting this conversation as a way to explore more about what the masculinity and femininity means, but also we're feeling there is desire among people to learn more, and there is something intriguing, there is something here. And that's why we created this series, in order for you to learn something new. And maybe it opens up new perspective, new views for you.
And especially we created that to deliver also not only good content, but to work directly with you. That means we will create a mastermind or membership.
A membership series.
Yeah, membership where we have plenty of more time, 1.5 or till 2 hours, and we can even treat directly your problems or make also a webinar out of that. So, of course, the free webinars, we don't have so much time. We have limited it to 30 minutes, so we don't make a Q&A session, but that would be in the mastermind where we need you to create that, because it's creating out of your desires, out of your necessities, and out of your
where you are right now where you are right now in your life. And we actually had the first starting point of this conversation a few days ago, and there came up a few questions and also some topic for further explorations. We decided today we're going to speak about love, what love is, and how is there a difference between the feminine and masculine approach, how to see love, and how do we get lost in love, and what does it mean? So it's like, this could be a really huge topic, but there is something here. Where do we start?
Yeah, you amplified it plenty to different questions, and let's see whether we have the time for that. But if you've got more questions, we also created a Facebook group. What is, of course, if you're a membership, you get access to the Facebook group because it's not found, it's private, to keep it really close to those who really want to work with themselves.
Yeah, and learn more. So love. Here's something. Yeah, but here is, I think this is the major problem that exists among understanding love for most people, is that, and I think this is why we're having this conversation. If you're a woman and you haven't healed your feminine, or you're a man and you haven't healed your masculine, you're actually going to attract in partners who mirror something inside of you. So there is something about what it means to do your own work as a woman or man in order to create healthy or relationships that is thriving, and that is a reflection of where you are, because usually we do reflect someone that mirrors where we are. And if you haven't done your own work, you're going to reflect that in the partners you're attracting in.
I explain that mostly by saying that everyone has buttons, and you invite the partner And therefore is a partnership principle meant, sorry, that was Spanish, principally to push those buttons, of course unconsciously, because you don't like to hurt him or her, but you invite this person out of your subconsciousness because you want to heal. So it's a healing process that the partner is putting the finger in the wounds. Only we have to be conscious about those processes, and plenty of times you get the right partner to push the buttons, but not in that way you want to, in that way you need it to. And this is unconscious, mostly.
Another thing on bridging on that is, if you still are in your wounds and you become needy of love, you're actually you're going to come from a perspective where you need someone to complement you. So in order to feel happy, I need to have a man, or in order to feel happy, I need to be in a relationship. So in some way, when we haven't healed ourselves, we're living in some kind of lack or limbo, and we're actually subconsciously looking for someone else to rescue out, and we're thinking a relationship or love. So that means we are going to create love, maybe and direct it in ways where it's wouldn't supposed to happen, but because we are now needy for it, so we're clinging on to it whenever we feel it. And that can also cause this kind of destructive relationships between men and women, where the neediness, she is needy and wants to see him, and he back off. So the more needy she is, he back off more, and you don't know how to handle this, basically.
Yeah, we call this the half apple syndrome.
Is that true?
Because I'm half and she's a half apple, and we are masculine feminine united. No, she's an apple complete, and I'm an orange or a lemon or something. And maybe it's nicer to bite in an apple than in a lemon. But the thing is that if we love ourselves, if the love goes inside me and not external, if we're not neediness, if we not enter in this dependency, so I could be a gift for the other person.
Yeah, we're coming from the place where we become dependent on another person. So there is this neediness creates dependent on someone, and Eleanor. Or was it Astrid? But someone was actually saying that it sounds like an addiction, and it is. It's like, because usually the more needy, the more clingy, and the more vulnerable you're feeling in your isolation, the more neediness you're going to be around a partner and cling on to that one. And that comes from the wounds inside of you that haven't healed. So if you haven't healed yourself, so if you're half full, you're going to attract in another person that is half full or less. So it becomes this complication in the relationships where it's mirrored. While when you know yourself and when you're finding this balance within yourself, you're actually going to start to attract in a different kind of partners in your lives that can meet you there.
The question then comes up, how do we do that? And I think the first approach is the observation. Normally we observe or we control the outside, but not for to lead the outside to be like we want to, but it's for us to, I don't know what it's right English, acoplate yourself to the needy of the outside, to the needs of the outside. So it's not that you will change the outside, but you will change yourself to be right for the outside. And if you really start, one moment.
Yeah.
If you really start to observe yourself, and that's maybe a task for you, start to observe yourself. How do you feel when you talk to your body, or to talk to your partner, or anyone who is important to you, and start to feel what effect has his words or her words in you. And then start to control yourself, not the outside, but yourself. Not to accomplishing any rules or something, but to balance your own emotions. And if you can balance those emotions, then you're not needy anymore. But this is a process which goes a while, because you have to recognize yourself in this new position of the observer. You're not a judge anymore. The judge, what is comparing yourself with the other. This girl is more I don't know, more blonde, more I don't know what, and this man has more this, or this man has more that, and I have to go to the gym now to get more muscles, or some crazy things, all masks, But I observe myself. What is my need in this moment? What is my body? What does my body needs? And then you get authentic. And when you're authentic, you attract the right persons.
I think there is a truth there, and I'm also sensing how in our society, I mean, in general, a lot of people are playing roles. They're playing masks. They don't even know about it. So the first thing is to be conscious. And there is a lot of people who, in the way of wanting to be in relationship, they start to change themselves, not becoming me, but becoming someone else in order to fit into that relationship. And it's just something that is unconscious in a way, but it somehow happens if you haven't done your own work, and if you're not conscious of what you're doing, you're somehow is going to go into that and adjust to the other partner and live from their conditions or their lives, rather than actually coming from the fullness of being whole. And I think for me, that's when we have our masculine and feminine in balance ourselves as individuals, then we're in our full power. But there is also something about what it means to go in there. I mean, I was the kind of woman who was very much in my masculine energy, stepped into expanding my feminine energy, and the more stepping in there, it's also like I'm also seeing something else happens around me. I'm attracting a different kind of men, and I can see my whole life as a story of how that was a reflection on the person or the woman I was, and the woman I'm becoming, and there is something new, things happening here. So everything is a reflection of you, I would say.
So if I'm allowed to make a joke about this, women, if you want to change the type of man you're attracting, change yourself.
Yesterday I saw I don't watch movie very often, but yesterday I watched a movie on Netflix, and it was very funny because it was on a television producer who they hired a guy who was actually talking about exactly this subject, but from the male perspective. And she was so triggered by him. And he helped, and she had a list. She had brought a list on the ideal man she wanted to attract in her life. So he was just going to have a lot of good qualities. And the interesting point was that, I mean, basically, when she attracted that guy and this man in the television series helped her to her playing a role in order to attract that man. She was not herself. And I think that happens a lot. I don't know how it is for men, but this is how I think a lot of women are doing. They're writing a list of, he should be so-and-so tall, he should have dark hair, whatever. Like they have this list, and then they're making a judgment of everything they meet. Or actually, this is the thing. If I can't see anything on my list, why should I have a conversation with you at all? That's how I'm seeing how a lot of women are actually approaching men also. If I'm seeing my friend, if we go out, a lot of women, they don't understand, why is she talking to this ugly man instead of talking to me? While I'm there in a way of like playing with men and interacting, and this is a new game for me. Like you don't have to be the love of my life for me to have a conversation with you. But for a lot of women, that's exactly how it seems to be like. I don't know. How is that for men, Frank?
Well, for men, for plenty of men, the sexual approach is the first goal to talk with women. Let's say for not so conscious men. I think if the man is more conscious about, then it's not important anymore. But of course, there's something which attracts me. There's something, or in your smile, or in your eyes, or in the whole body, that attracts me, and that want to contact. Well, I'm a very what's it called? Joseph Beuys would call it haptical, but I like much, for example, touching, hugging, and get really in contact without having any sex or something, or thinking about sex, but getting in contact. So, of course, that scares plenty of women because they just think about sex then. No? Oh, this guy want to.
So if you touch someone, then it's just they thinking he wants sex.
It's too near for plenty of women. Yeah.
But do you think men, in the same way as women, have a kind of ideal list how the ideal woman should be or look like?
Well, I think we learned that all from the books of what is it called, Order to the Universe, or something like that. And it's working, but it's working only if you put the list away. You write the list and you put it away. And when somebody comes up, so you can take out the list and say, okay, look here, I attracted you, or something like that. That happened to me several times. That the lady said, "Oh, 2 weeks before I wrote this list, and look, you're exactly like that." But I think the men have more, let's say, more a physical thinking about that. That she should be blonde, she should have blue or brown eyes, or something like that, a beautiful smile. And I think women are more in the emotional part. He should be also spiritual. She should be also these kind of things.
So there is this thing of I don't know, but so one thing is coming from your head and coming from your mind, and another one is being connected to your body. And we're speaking about the feminine would be in their emotions and being more emotional, and you were previously saying about the importance of how do you feel, like what is the feeling. I'm getting that a lot of people actually don't have that understanding or that awareness that they can actually be capable of feeling. So if you actually it was quite advanced. I think Astrid last time gave feedback that it was intriguing with the conversation we had because it made her both think and feel. And I think that was an advanced comment, because most people are not aware that they are actually feeling something. It's that, like, if they're feeling something, it's a kind of discomfort and they can't put words on it because they're not used to it. And at the same time, in coupled relationships, or when it comes to, being able to speak about sensations, to communicate about feelings, that's how you create intimacy.
Yeah, but I think this course is about that the people come into the feeling, that the people come into the awareness of themselves, and then turn into a gift for the other. Because if I'm aware of what is going on, it could be I have a really nice conversation, and I like this girl from the outside, but I sense, oh, well, it's a beautiful lady, but the conversation is like this, and I don't know, I can't reach her, or she can't reach me, or so it stays in the conversation. That's okay for me. But if I'm come from neediness, I want sex this night. So in most cases, the conversation is reduced, and therefore a discotheque where you can't conversate.
Don't trust the conversation.
Or only minimalistic. So there's not really a conversation. Let's say a verbal conversation. Of course, there's a body conversation, but we're not trained in read the bodies consciously.
So then it becomes a problem, actually, because a lot of people go out in discotheque or bars. People are drunk, they've been drinking, and they try, and since they are needy, they are actually hungry for connection. And then they drink alcohol. It becomes even more intense, that desire, that need, and it creates just mismatch of communication, but also disappointments. A lot of women go home with someone just because, it's someone is caring for me, or it becomes a way of confirming myself also that I
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also not mostly not a conversation. What want I out of this night with you? Huh? Because there should start a conversation for not to be disappointed later.
Yeah,
no?
Exactly.
If one wants a quick sex and the other wants slow sex, it's not shining together.
Yeah, that's
and we have to make conversation also there, or almost show it.
Yeah,
maybe.
I remember there was a time I was having a guy. He was just recently divorced, and he came to me as a client, and he started to date women, and he went to these kind of dating sites. Did I tell this story last time? No. He went to this kind of dating sites where other women are looking for the romantic idea of love. And romantic idea of love is just a notion of understanding love. We're not going to go deep here. But he had a conversation with a woman for a whole month. They were finally going to meet, and he was hoping for sex. But that was basically what he wanted. I mean, he wasn't looking for a new relationship. And I sort of warned him for what's going to come here. And of course, it happened after the weekend, and then we have this disappointments in communication, and he had to broke a relationship that he didn't even want to be in a relationship. And I told him, if you want to play the sexual exploration game, there is actually dating sites you can go to where people are exploring sexuality. Go there and play, because then you have women who are in the same game as you are.
Exactly.
Because sometimes a lot of people are sitting out in these romantic dating sites and looking for something. But on the other side, we are all there because they're looking for this romantic understanding of what a relationship means. And that has beginning a certain, continuation of the proceedings. And it's very difficult there to negotiate a different rules.
Yeah. And there's another point coming in. Most people know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want.
It's true.
So, of course, I don't want a guy which is hitting me, or what is it called?
Hitting you. Yeah, of course.
Hitting you. But of course, there are plenty ways of treating other. If he don't hit you, maybe he will greet, or he will shout on you.
Yeah, it can be a psychological
be clear
abuse.
what you want, and the universe will react, because the universe never knows the word no.
Yeah,
I don't want. So if you know what you want, and that's a complete other approach. So maybe the list is what you want, but I have seen plenty of lists where the people say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want it, and they got it. Again, why? Because they had the focus on that. If they have the focus on the other things, if I am clear what I want, like you said, or a romantic, or only sex, or games, or I don't know what, multiple, if you want a harem or something like that, you have to articulate that, and you have to look on the right place for that. Because if not, nobody's prepared for that, and it will get problems.
As it says, or they give up and say, I know what I've got and not what I get. I'll stay. We're not trained to articulate what we want. Yeah. Thank you for joining us and being so interactive, Astrid. I love that. I love your eagerness to participate. Here.
Therefore, we want to create something where we can learn or experiment those things.
And expand this conversation. And also, because I know you are here because you all have your own questions, but also maybe problems, dilemmas. So that's why we creating a mastermind. So we meet twice a month for a 90-minute conversation where you actually get a possibility to have your spot on coaching, and we can address for the time. And I mean, from the beginning, there will be a limited number of people, but with time, we don't know how it looks like. But here's the thing is that usually when you address one person, the other people usually have some similar kind of problem going on in their life.
Yeah.
So there is...
I always say, if I want to work with one person, and my master always said that too, I work with all of you. Because the energy goes where the focus is. And if we have the energy focused on one person and the energy of this problem, some similar thing turns up in yourself. And you can work on the same time with this person. And this person maybe is only a representative for you, like in a family constellations, and makes the process with you or for you sometimes.
It's true. It's true. And I think I think we come to a point also, I think we come to a point in our lives or in our society, like we have reached a consciousness level as a society. And this is part of, I know Frank, you're a specialist on this, but we have reached a specific time in our society where we are evolving as human beings in a new way. I think from now and 50 years ahead, we will evolve much more as human beings compared to what we did 50 years in the past, I think, because there is something going on with the consciousness, and that is how we being in relationships, and that is even more important in today's world, where people are more skillful in communication via mobile phones, text message, and sending these quick chat messages instead of actually having conversations with each other. So I think there is something like there is a gift of being in a space where you can handle all these issues. We have no training in to handle relationships unless we had very skillful parents that were actually doing their part. And most of us didn't have that, unfortunately. So we haven't learned.
Yeah. An important point is also of this mastermind, if you're continuously in a field of transformation, then you don't get this yo-yo effect, which is sometimes in a weekend seminar you're excited and you had transformed plenty of things, and 5 days later you're in the same patterns again.
Yeah, this is a great workshop. But
yeah, and it's not lasting. So if you come on every 2 weeks and get in this deep diving energy, let's say like that, so you're reminded in this to your pureness, to your authenticity. Oh, some words are really authenticity. Okay, and something is changing slowly, but suddenly you will recognize, this mask I don't have anymore. Or the people say to you, oh, you changed plenty, but I changed, really?
Yeah.
What do you feel? What do you mean? What do you feel? What has changed? No? And they will tell you.
I think also, I mean, all of you, you know me, you know I'm working with women. Frank is working with men, and I think there is this need also for a platform like this where men and women are joining in, and there is actually, we can have this new kind of conversation and learn from each other. There is something, there is a gift in that.
And at least we want also to make a presential seminar one day. Maybe this year not, but in the beginning of next year, maybe in Tenerife, maybe in Sweden, maybe depends on where you're living or where we find a beautiful place, and we can go deep inside, because I like I said before, I like the touching point. Therefore, I created a program which is named the Healing Touch. And sometimes we need that, and not only the information or the thing over the internet and over the ether.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good starting point. Yeah, it's a good starting point.
And I think it's a good approach also to have a continuous thing. Let's say maybe worldwide. And I think also those days what we will spend together, maybe a 5 or a 6 day retreat, will have an impact on you.
Well, that's of course, and if people have been in a process and then go to a retreat together, there's going to be something different happening than if they just go to a retreat. Okay, I posted the link. If you want to play with us twice a month, if you sign up now, you're actually lucky, because the group is going to be not many people from the beginning, so you will have more time with us for your questions. So that's the advantage. The link is there. You can go there and sign up. It's $97 a month. And then you have 2 webinar meetings.
Oh, you put dollar.
Yeah,
not euro.
I don't know how there's dollars there. My bank.
Okay. If there are plenty of Swedish people, might be better in euros, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now there is dollars there, and it's almost the same. Okay. So with that, we are going to do webinar again. Of course, we're going to do more webinars like this in order to bring people in for these conversations. Is there something we need to say before we finish, Frank?
Do we have a theme for next week?
What theme would you like to have for next week?
I know I'm surprising you with that. And sometimes
I know people are going to come with, and we still have actually plenty of themes from the last times. We still have something to continue on.
Let me have a little look at my...
Or what kind of suggestions do you have? What would you like us to take up as theme next time? I know you're sitting on something.
We can talk about the masks, for example, more.
The masks, yeah, the masks.
This mask, another question from Astrid was, is there masculinity and femininity in the spiritual reality? So I think we could talk more about reality in general.
Yes.
What is reality? What is the feminine? What is the masculine reality?
And we can talk about the difference between the reality and the divine and all this.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so
thank you more for the theme.
Okay, I'm finishing the recording for now. Thank you.